It wasn't supposed to be his idea. In the summer of 1939, the world was holding its breath. Hitler had already marched into Czechoslovakia. War was inevitable. But in a quiet corner of New York, a group of scientists was worrying about something else. Something terrifying. They had learned that German physicists had split the uranium atom. In theory, that meant it was now possible to unleash an unimaginable amount of energy. A bomb like no one had ever seen before. And if the Nazis got there first, the consequences would be catastrophic. So one Hungarian physicist, Leo Szilard, decided it was time to warn someone. But how do you get the attention of the U.S. government in the summer of 1939 when America was still clinging to isolationism? You attach a name they can't ignore. Albert Einstein. Einstein was living quietly in New Jersey at the time, far removed from the politics of Europe and the emerging war. He wasn't a nuclear physicist. His fame came from relativity and elegant math. But Szilard believed that if Einstein signed the letter, someone in Washington might finally pay attention. So they sat down together in a house in Long Island. Szilard dictated. Einstein, with his thick accent and quiet voice, agreed. The letter warned that Germany might be attempting to build an atomic bomb and that the United States needed to act fast. It was sealed, addressed to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and sent to the wrong place. The letter didn't go directly to the White House. It bounced through intermediaries. Weeks passed, then months. Sounds like when I mail something. In fact, it wasn't delivered to Roosevelt until October 1939, 2 full months after it was written. If it had taken just a little longer, it might have arrived after Germany invaded Poland, after World War II had officially begun, after it was too late to matter. But it didn't. When Roosevelt finally read it, he reportedly turned to his aide and said, "This requires action." And with that, the wheels began to turn. Funding was secured, committees were formed, research accelerated. The result? The Manhattan Project. The secret U.S. program developed atomic weapons before the Nazis could. By the time the war ended, 2 bombs had been dropped, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world entered the atomic age, and everything changed. Einstein later said he regretted signing the letter, not because it was wrong, but because of what followed. He had wanted to prevent catastrophe, not cause one. In his own words, "Had I known that the Germans would not succeed in developing an atomic bomb, I would have done nothing." The irony? The Germans never even came close. But Einstein's letter, delayed, rerouted, almost forgotten, sparked one of the most ambitious and controversial scientific projects in human history. It helped end a world war. It began a nuclear arms race, and it haunted its signers for the rest of their lives. Oof, there's a butterfly effect to think about. All because of a name, a signature, and a message nearly lost in the mail. Because sometimes history doesn't hinge on the loudest voices or the fastest decisions. Sometimes it rests inside an envelope, waiting to be opened. This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.